Hey everybody, Wideduck here again, this time with Game 4 of a Best of 5 series from the Russian Star League 2013 edition. And in this quarterfinal action, we're gonna this time spawn on Akilon Wastes in the top left, spawning as the Green Terran. We've got Natus Vincier's Strelok. And his opponent, and currently has a 2-1 lead in this series, representing Team Acer, spawning as the Purple Zerg, we've got Scarlett. Scarlett was able to take a macro game in the last game, able to push Strelok. Strelok was on 3 bases and then was reduced to 2, and he wasn't able to move out. He was economically very behind, and Scarlett was able to secure the victory, and now she's on match point. She wants to finish this off to move to the semifinals. Strelok, on the other hand, is on a 2-game losing streak. He did win game 1, but hasn't been able to find a solution to the Scarlett question. So he's going to have to think of something a little bit different. He's opening up with a barracks and refinery. Scarlett's going for hatchery first. And you do have to remember this is Akilon Wastes. So if you want to do some sort of proxy or cheesy builds, you could do it on this map, but it looks like both players are not opting to do that. Instead, they're going to go for a more normal, basic game. And Scarlett really likes the macro games, the games that get into the really late portions. That's where she excels a lot better at. So Strelok does have to be careful about that. Would have been nice to see one of the players be more aggressive, try to do more sort of cheesy builds, try to throw the other opponent off. But Strelok will be opening up with a Reaper, and Reapers are very good on Akilon Wastes. There are many points to jump up into your opponent's base, like from the back here, from the rocks, you can jump up twice. There's also into the natural, you can jump up from this position. And so there are many areas for the Reaper to do a lot of damage. So a Reaper opening is not a bad build, it's quite good. Two Queens and 4 Zerglings will be coming out soon, but they're not out yet. The Reaper has arrived at his destination, able to see that expansion hatchery. And now he's going to be able to pick off some of these Zerglings. Scarlett is microwing as best as she can. Strelok has to be careful here. You do not want to get surrounded by the Zerglings. If you lose that Reaper right away, that's a huge loss. Generally, you want to use that Reaper for future scouting. And now with both the Queens out, the Reaper is not going to be able to do too much. Strelok is almost done his factory. And he's building a lot of Marines instead of Hellions. So both players are not going for map control, at least early on in the game, which is interesting. He's going for mines. Interesting. And he's getting a starport. Could this be a Marine mine drop? Haven't seen one of these in a while. They can be very effective, especially if the mines get lots of splash damage hits on the harvesters. This Reaper was able to pick off a creep tumor, so that's very successful, wasting 25 energy from that Queen. Scarlett is one of those Zerg players that really, really likes to expand that creep, and expanding creep is very, very underrated sometimes. Expanding creep is really one of the keys to success as a Zerg player, as you're able to basically see half the map or the entire map, know where your opponent is. And Strelok is coming in here. It won't be a drop so much. It will just be a straight-on confrontation. This Overlord is going to get picked off. And now the Mines and Reapers are streaming in here. The Mine has to be careful here. Might get picked off before he's able to burrow. No, the Mine is destroyed. But the Marines are charging in here, able to pick off one Queen. The second one is at half-life. The Marines are getting shredded apart by the combination of Queens and Zerglings. All the Zerglings are gone, but the Marines are going to have to withdraw. There's only 3 of them left. Remember, these Marines do not have stim, they do not have combat shield, so they are very weak Marines compared to the ones we're used to seeing. And now Scarlett's going to have to set up some static defense. A Spine Crawler is going down in the middle of the ramp, and the creep tumors are spreading as well. I really like the fact that there is a creep spread between the natural and the main of Scarlett's bases. She's also getting Zergling speed, but unfortunately with this medevac out, it looks like Mr. Strelok will be able to ladder up into the main if he chooses to do so. As there is one mine here over to the right that's waddling by, able to spot that third hatchery. Unfortunately, won't be able to prevent it. But at the same time, Strelok is going to boost into the main of Scarlett's base. Scarlett only has one lone queen here to defend, and the queen is going to try and retreat. The drones are being pulled off the line. Have to be very careful here. Able to get 5 drone kills. Amazing mine connection. So Scarlett is reeling from that. This queen has to retreat. These 6 Marines are still doing significant damage. They still do not have stim, but they've got a lot of firepower still. And now with all these Zerglings and queens, I think Strelok's going to have to boost out of here, and he does. But big loss. Losing 5 drones to that one mine hit. And if you take a look at resources lost, this is a huge loss. And look, these Overlords are now under attack as well. So Scarlett's going to lose 2 more Overlords at the price of nothing. Actually, just 1 more. This Overlord is able to get away with just 5 life remaining. So look, if you take a look at resources lost, Scarlett is really far behind. She doesn't have her third up just yet. But Strelok's persistent and measured aggression has been very good. And another drop here into the main, again, focusing down on those Overlords. Not able to get that Overlord. And Scarlett's Overlords are both heavily into the red. But unfortunately, Strelok has to be very careful here. He's building tanks. He's finally getting a Thor out. And there's actually a Changeling here able to spot everything for Scarlett. As there are the Mutalisks out, the mine from Strelok was able to detect that, and Strelok has to prepare for this flock of Mutalisks that will be flying in here very shortly. And once again, I just like to highlight, look at this creep spread, already like 35% through the map at the 10-minute mark. And the Mutalisks are going to stream in here. The tanks are going to have to withdraw. There is a Viking here and a few Marines, and once again, they do not have stim, so they are very weak. One of the Mutalisks do go down. Not a great trade for Scarlett. Trying to pick off those tanks. And it's going to be able to get 1, so that is a much better trade. Able to pick off 1 tank. Resources lost are evening out, but still in favor of Strelok. And now Strelok is going to blow up those rocks to protect his third. So good choice by Strelok picking that base. But the Mutalisks are going to fly over to the natural. There's nobody in the bunker. The mine is going to get shredded by the glaive worms. Hellbat goes down. The second one goes down as well. So these flock of Mutalisks are picking off a lot of free units. Strelok is building more missile turrets. And the Mutalisks are just going to fly away to regenerate. These Changelings are hanging out at the front. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to do very much as the supply depot wall is so large. The Mutalisks are going to try and go for a flyby at the third. The Thor is going to keep them away for now. As Scarlett's 4th hatchery is being built right now. And Zerg players always want to be 1 base above their Terran or Protoss opponents. So Scarlett is basically right on schedule. And her creep spread at the 12-minute mark is halfway through the map. So her creep spread is excellent. Able to see half the map. And Strelok is constantly being pinned in his own base. Going mech again. And I don't know about this choice because last game, Strelok went mech. And because he went mech, he was very, very slow. And Mutalisks, their advantage is that they're fast, they commit hit and runs, and the Thors were just not able to keep up. And so it looks like Scarlett's going to be employing the same tactic. Strelok the same. The Mutalisks are going to be flying to the second base of Strelok. There are two missile turrets here. They're just slightly out of range, so this refinery is going to go down. And these glaive worms are actually going to kill some SCVs as well. And now Scarlett is going to retreat again, but once again able to destroy some infrastructure for the price of nothing. And now these destructible rocks at the third of Strelok's is getting focus fired down. Scarlett is going to retreat temporarily. Resources lost is now slightly in favor of Scarlett. She does have a small supply advantage as well. And remember, she does have 4 bases, and she is getting her 5th up soon. So everything seems to be going Scarlett's way, and Strelok hasn't moved out. As a Terran player, you need to stop the expansions and the creep threat of a Zerg player, but Strelok hasn't done that. He's just hanging out, fortifying his side of the map, but Scarlett is fast approaching his side of the map, and that's not very good as a Terran player. This lone missile turret is going to be able to get rid of 1 Mutalisk, but this large pack of Mutalisk is now in the main. Gonna be wreaking havoc on these SCVs. The Vikings are going to scare these Mutalisks away. I like this idea of putting Thors on, in the medevac, because Thors are slow and medevacs are slow, but you have to be very careful because you can see the Thor hanging out, and if Mutalisks want to concentrate on that medevac, they'll both go down. Strelok able to repel this small roach attack, but these Mutalisks are still just hanging outside, and Scarlett's building more Mutalisks, getting +1 carapace as well. Her Mutalisks are behind in upgrades compared to the Terran mech force, and Scarlett has so many creep tumors here, but the queens are kind of out of position, and with this Raven here, all these creep tumors are going to get cleaned up as well. So the creep spread is very far. It's about 2/3 across the map, and here come all the Mutalisks. We've got 28 Mutalisks in this composition. I don't think 2 Thors are going to be able to deal with this. They just magic box him. 1 Thor is down. The second one is going to evaporate as well. One of the secret missiles does extensive damage, but the Mutalisks heal up very quickly, and there's no more splash damage, so that 3rd Thor is going to blow up as well. And now all the tanks and Hellbats have to retreat back into the main, but there's no anti-air. There's only 1 missile turret and a bunker full of Marines, and I don't think that's going to be able to deal with 24 Mutalisks. That's just way too many Mutalisks. The bunker does go down. The Marines are going to get shredded apart as well. So does the Viking, and now there's nothing left. Only tanks, SCVs, and Hellbats, and none of them can fire into the sky. The Mutalisks are just having a field day, just destroying everything at that ramp. The Mutalisks are just constantly flying in here. There's more and more productions of Mutalisks. Scarlett has 26 right now. She's building 5 more, and now is going to retreat temporarily as she sees the medevac just slowly drifting towards her base, finally boosting, and I think these Hellbats are going to be able to do something. But at the same time, the Zerglings are rampaging through the natural Strelok space. The Hellbats are going to drop, but they're going to be destroyed easily by the Mutalisks. The Zerglings are also going to retreat from Strelok's main. The tanks have been able to force that extraction, but can they force this flock of Mutalisks not to come back in? We've got 28 Mutas currently. We've also got 10 Corruptors on the way. And even though there's 4-5 missile turrets here, they do go down very quickly to these Mutalisks. And now there's not a lot of anti-air protecting this 3rd base of Strelok's. And remember, Scarlett's got 6 bases. So once again, she's got twice as many bases as her opponent, and that's never a good position to be in if you're the one that has half the bases. And now it looks like the armories are getting focused down. +3 attack is not going to be able to finish, so great pickup by Scarlett, forcing the level 3 attacks to fail. And that takes another 3.5 minutes to start up, not counting the armory time. But the mines get great connections, and all these Mutalisks are in the red and yellow, but unfortunately, even with the resources lost, Strelok is still losing in that department, and Scarlett has a 40 supply advantage. Strelok is going to move out to the middle of the map, but he's going to have to really realize that Scarlett is just doing lots of hits and runs. The mines are going to go down without burrowing either, so significant losses for Strelok once again. A couple of mines have been able to go down, but they're not going to get... Actually, they did not fire, and now with the Mutalisks coming in, the mines are going to get 2 very good connections. Resources lost have evened out, but Scarlett does have 6 bases. So unless Strelok's able to push back and do some economic damage, Scarlett doesn't mind losing all these Mutalisks. She can just rebuild everything. She's actually getting +2/+2 for her Zerg Flyers, and she's almost maxed out as well. We've got a lot of Zerglings coming, and the Broodlords are coming as well. There are 5 Thors, but Thors are generally not very good against Broodlings. And the combination of Broodlings and Zerglings swarming in here is doing a lot of damage to these tanks and to these Thors. And the Broodlings are slowly skittering through the sky. These supply depots are under extreme stress. And unfortunately, for Strelok, he doesn't have a lot of Vikings. He only has 4, and the Mutilates are coming in here, able to take off that Raven. And with the Corruptors, these Vikings are not going to be able to hold up as well. These Broodlords are going to be uncontested, basically. All the Thors are being surrounded by Broodlings. And you're just watching the supplies of Strelok plummet. He's down by 80, and I don't think Strelok can come back. He's got no anti-air. Nothing that can deal with these Broodlords, and he's going to have to tap out. And Scarlett is the victor. She wins 3 games in a row to seal the deal, and she's going to move on to the semifinals of the Russian Star League 2013 edition. So great games by both players, and congratulations to Scarlett, and I hope to see you guys next time.